depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got some new cards from Battle Partners to talk about. Cards that are going to be in Journey together over in the West. Essentially, what we got here is the last good cards from the set. The last cards that we're going to be looking at and going, okay, they're going to be in Journey together. They're in Battle Partners. These are cards we need to know about. Cards about which we are a little bit excited. Sound like a plan? Excellent. So let's start off with the very last EX that we are seeing in the set. It's not a trainer's Pokemon. It's just Salamence. It's Salamence EX, which means it is a Stage 2, and we know that Stage 2s are less than ideal, to put it euphemistically. It takes them a little while to come out. We don't love that. But we've got a 320 HP Dragon Pokemon with no weakness. That is pretty beefy and pretty good. What have we got in terms of an attack? Well, 1 fire, 2 colorless energy, 50 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That is a lot of damage. I mean, if your opponent goes and gets an Area 0 Underdepths out, that's 400 damage in total. Now, they're not always going to. That's not the point. Potential 400 damage is frankly pretty awesome. Of course, you're not really getting evolving Pokemon very much here. Most of them are going to have 70 HP. Few of them are going to have 60. You're doing 50. So it's not ideal. And nobody's pretending it's ideal. It is a lot of damage, but this is a softening up attack. It's not an attack you're going to be using to take lots of KOs. It is going to be softening things up, and over we go. Now, obviously, one of the things we would be looking at here is, hang on a second, this could be a great tool in Regidrago decks if Regidrago wasn't rotating, but obviously Regidrago is rotating. Otherwise, whack it in the discard pile, you can copy it with Regidrago, and then this is actually a really useful attack. But Regidrago is rotating. Second attack, fire, water, 2 colorless, 300 damage. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. It's fine. 300 damage is good, but even then you're not getting a lot of Stage 2 EXs. Even things like Gardevoir coming in at 310, you end up a little bit short. So yes, you're getting most stuff, but you're not really getting Stage 2 EXs, and I'm sorry, but if I'm getting 4 energy on a Stage 2 Pokemon and discarding 2 of them, I really do feel like I shouldn't have to put in any more work to be KOing Stage 2 EXs. I'm going to go ahead and give this one between 2 and 3 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I don't think it's good enough. I think the energy cost is too awkward. The Stage 2 is annoying, as are all Stage 2s most of the time. And frankly, it just doesn't have good enough attacks to warrant it. I'm sorry. But we do have some new trainers Pokemon, including the only other Lillie's Pokemon, and that is Lillie's Ribombee. Literally all we have for Lillie is Lillie's Clefairy, Lillie's Comfey, and Lillie's Ribombee. That is it. That is the entire lineup of Lillie's Pokemon. Now, again, it's worth noting that canonically this does kind of make sense. Lillie doesn't have that many Pokemon, so it's not that weird from a canonical sense, but from a we need some cards to play with sense, it is frankly less than ideal. But what have we got with Ribombee here? Well, we got single energy 50, which is frankly not ideal. We've only got 70 HP, and actually we evolved from a 30 HP basic, which again, not ideal. And we've got an ability that says, once during your turn, when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may look at your opponent's hand, choose any number of basic Pokemon you find there, and put them onto their bench. This is actually a really nice attack. Or ability. It's an ability, but it's a really nice ability. And we got 2 uses here. Use number 1 is that you're grabbing this in a stall deck, a control deck, making your opponent bench Pokemon they'd rather not, so that you can disrupt them. This will be good in stall decks. Option number 2, of course, is Lillie decks. Remember, the whole point of Lillie decks is they're built around Lillie's Clefairy, which has got that attack like we've seen so many times before, 20 damage plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon, yours and your opponent's. So what you really want to do here is have your bench completely full, have your opponent have their bench completely full, and then go nuts doing lots of damage. Thing is, you're still going to be playing 30 HP basics in order to play this, which is not ideal. But the fact is, we've now got a very straightforward Lillie deck. We've got ourselves Comfey, which lets you get as many Lillie's Pokemon as you like. We've got Ribombee, which lets you make your opponent bench Pokemon. And then you've got Clefairy, which goes and smashes. And given that you've got Lillie's Pearl, which makes Clefairy into a single prize Pokemon, I'll be honest with you, it's not my favourite thing from Battle Partners. But I'm actually looking at it and going, maybe there is a chance here. Ribombee definitely is exactly what Lillie needs. And it's good for control decks. It's a 4-Wossy card. This is one that I think is very relevant and some players should be getting a little bit excited about. Are there any more Trainers Pokemon? Yeah, there's one. We've got one more Trainers Pokemon. It is N. It is N's Klinklang. And I don't like it, but remember, there's always a twist with N's Pokemon. So we've got 160 HP. It's not amazing for a stage 2, frankly. We've got single energy 50, which is fine. And then we've got free energy, 120 damage for each heads you can flip from free coins. Flip free coins, 120 for each heads. And the thing is, on the one hand, I look at this and I'm like, ugh. Because I think on its own, no. I think on its own, it's terrible. Like, really bad. Do not like this at all. However, we've got N Zoroark, which for 2 energy can use the attacks of any End Pokemon on your bench. So it's not free energy, it's 2, but you can just use it as and when you like. Use this attack when you really need to hit a big damage. You can get up to 360 here. The thing is, you need to have End Klinklang on the bench in order to copy it with End Zoroark. And that's not the same. Because now I've got to have this stage 2 sitting on my bench. I've got to evolve up into my stage 2 in order to make it work. And even then, it's a flippy attack. I'm not actually a big fan of this at all. I really don't like this in Ends decks. And when I'm looking at how I'm going to be building my Ends deck moving forward, I'm not putting Klinklang in there. I think Ends got a really fun suite of attacks. I think if we could get flip free coins, 120 for each heads on a stage 1, I would maybe consider it as an emergency. Oh, it's all going wrong, we need to flip right now kind of attack. But I really, really don't like this as a stage 2 and having to have a stage 2 on the bench. No sirree, Bob. 2 Wossies. I really don't like this card, sorry. I think Ribombee's good. I think Klinklang here. I like Klinklang as a Pokemon, but no, this is a really bad card. I'm not a fan. There is one other card I'm a big fan of here, though, which I think could be really good, and it is Noivern. Noivern here, we got a colourless Pokemon, stage 1, 110 HP, but it does have free retreat, which is actually a really, really nice little bonus here. And we've got free energy, 110, plus confusion. It's a decent enough attack. It's for colourless energy, which really helps. But it's also one of these where it's not, it's free energy. That's a bit too much. We're not loving it like we could. However, we have an ability here that says if you and your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, ignore all energy in this Pokemon's Panic Howl attack cost. Worth noting, it is specifically Panic Howl that it's referring to here. So if you've given it any other attacks, if there's any other attacks it can use, it doesn't get that reduction. It is only for the attack printed on the card here. But now, if I can match hand sizes, which is really not that difficult a lot of the time, now all of a sudden, 0 energy, 110 plus confusion? Yeah. And it's a free retreater as well. Now we're rolling. Now I'm a little bit excited about this. Wasn't loving it beforehand. Very much am loving it now. Cool. I should mention there is a new Butterfree. Let's give it between 3 and 4 Wossies. We don't give half Wossies. That would be barbaric. Really like the free attack. Think there's a lot of potential. I don't think it's some stunning, amazing card. Also, this thing could be absolutely busted in pre-releases. We've got a new Klawf, which can be quite good in control decks. Free energy 100, nah mate. But 2 colourless energy, flip 2 coins for each head, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Well, it's a basic Pokemon, colourless energy. and you can potentially remove 2 energy at once. I don't think it's a phenomenal, amazing card like that, but I do think there's a lot of potential here. I think being able to get rid of 2 energy is nice, and I do think some people are going to be able to make use of it. And then finally, there is a Butterfree. Doesn't have free retreat, but you do flip 4 coins and do 60 damage for each head, which is fine. But if you flip 2 or more heads, paralysis. And here's the thing, if we assume exactly half of your coins always end up heads, and half of your coins always end up tails, which we know is not how life actually works. But if you flip 4 coins, you would expect to flip 2 heads. You would expect to do 120 damage plus paralysis, and paralysis is very powerful. I think people are going to play this. I think there is a deck here, and I honestly think some people are going to make use of this, and I think that's kind of fun. Is it going to be some kind of amazing deck that storms the metagame? I'm going to be honest with you, probably not. But I do think this one could be a lot of fun, and again, I'm not saying you're going to get paralysis every time, that is not what I'm saying. But I am saying on average, when you flip 4 coins, you would expect 2 heads. You should expect paralysis to come in more often than not here. I mean, obviously, this is another one that is going to be absurdly good in a pre-release. Like, this one is going to own pre-releases. It's going to be phenomenal in pre-releases. But this one's got a chance to go a little bit further. Right, there we go. That's what you need to know. Those are the new cards, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these. Tell me what you think could be good. Tell me what you think about Lillie's decks. Now we're adding in Ribombee. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.